Going into a spiritual community doesn't always mean you will find a safe environment or safe people because troubled and unsafe people are everywhere. Trauma and spirituality are very closely related. Most people who have problems in their life or have a troubled past go to God, go to spirituality because a traumatic experience or challenges in your life changes your whole mindset, shifts your perspective towards life, it shatters your ego, and it's it makes you lost, confused, and you feel like what you knew about life was not true. So you start asking these questions to yourself: what is life? What is the meaning of this life? Is this what I came here to do? And then most people start going to religious places or find God, and that's why tarot, astrology, all these things are so popular right now because there is a lot of darkness in our society and people are struggling with their mental health, and the things you were noticing as a kid that all these adults are doing so many things wrong. The whole education system is wrong. Nobody's teaching you the stuff that needs to be taught. And all of the adults, like even though they look like an adult, doesn't mean they are an adult. They are they like it doesn't mean they are mature enough, even if they are an adult. A lot of people are in the society who are doing very they're doing things that are not acceptable. But in the society we are in, a lot of things that a lot of behaviors that shouldn't be acceptable are made acceptable and are actually normalized. So it's actually difficult to make friends on your healing journey, even if you go out in communities where people are into self development, personal development, or spirituality, because not everyone has embodied the truth. They are still in their unconscious patterns, and there is actually a high chance of you getting re traumatized, of you actually getting involved with people who treat you the same way you were treated in the past. And sometimes they are not even doing it consciously, it's just a pattern replaying. And you just, as soon as you become aware of that, you just have to leave that person. And then comes the loneliness that every person I'm meeting, why the every person I'm meeting is like this? Am I never going to find the right people or the right person? Just one friend who I can be myself with, who doesn't make me feel like I'm less, or doesn't play games with me, or doesn't test my boundaries. Is that not possible in this world? It is possible. But as you're constantly changing on the healing journey, there is a time period where you need to be alone. You will not have any close friends. It's a blessing if you have just one close friend. It's a blessing if you have one family member, or someone, a friend, family member, a sister, or someone who you can share yourself fully. Just one person, because most people don't even have that. That one person can even be your coach or therapist, but they can't be your friend. So having a friend or a close person is a very different feeling. And when you don't have that, and you especially didn't have that because you went through challenging experience, through trauma, and you actually didn't, you couldn't make any close friends, because all the people you thought were your close friends were not actually your friends. So you either had to leave those friends, or they fell out of your life on fell out of your life on their own. And there is a period of this alone time, of this where you meet people, you interact with people, but just, superficially, and just normal hi, hello. You don't have any close person who you can be with yourself fully. If you have that one person, you are lucky. But essentially, in this period, you are a friend to yourself. You actually start taking it very seriously, how you talk to yourself, how you respond to yourself when you make a mistake. Are you self loathing, or are you criticizing yourself, or you actually are compassionate to yourself, and then with that compassion and patience, you give yourself time and do your daily habits, and you are consistent with yourself, with taking care of yourself. This whole process is like you are reparenting yourself. You are giving that kind of stability you didn't get from your parents or your family, or because it's very essential that you become grounded in your body, in your mind. Most people who have experienced trauma or extreme difficulties, challenges in their life, their brain works differently. And it could be very crushing to realize that had to not only had you had to go through a painful experience, a traumatic experience, but also it damaged you, because it does affect how your brain works. So it's very crushing to realize this, that now it's your responsibility to give yourself that space to heal, because our brains can actually expand, because you must have heard about neuroplasticity. So actually we can heal, and we can um, Like our brain can heal after trauma, but it takes time and it takes consistent daily actions. And most of people who have a troubled past and directly go into spirituality skip this work, and then they just go into this loop of astrology or tarot. Or I'm not against tarot, but it can keep you in that loop of imagination, and essentially you don't know what is reality and imagination and memory, because your past and your imagination and the actual reality is, like, these are different things. So you need to get grounded in reality first, and then only you can become actually spiritual. So trauma and spirituality actually walk together, and there is a very thin line between it, because trauma can actually open up that dimension inside you and connect you to your spirit or your soul or your divinity, because the pain becomes too much and actually it can shatter your ego in that instant, and you actually experience that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are something else. But that could be just a one time event, and if you don't ground it inside your body, inside your mind, then it can just be a one time experience that you experience. But to actually become your reality, you have to do the groundwork, which means you do daily practice, daily meditation, yoga, involving both your body and your mind. You do journaling, self reflection, and there could be other ways you do it. It can only, these are not the only ways you can do it. You can also do it through art, but it has to come inside you. Like, you have to ground this experience inside your body, inside your mind, mental body, physical body, so that you can be in your body more, because trauma makes you leave your body. You actually get very, you lose touch with the reality when you have experienced trauma. You actually lose touch with the reality. That's why there comes anxiety and depression, because your mind is going into that past loop, pain, trauma experiences, and then your body is also feeling unsafe, stressed, even if that experience happened like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So we need to make our body feel safe again, make our mind feel safe again, so that our body, our brain can actually heal and our thoughts become clear. Many people experience brain fog, they become forgetful, and they are not able to function as a active human being who is physically active after having a traumatic experience that really left a mark on them. So you have to do the healing work to actually become an embodied spiritual person. You have to integrate that spiritual experience or experience of bliss into your body. So these, so the person who is actually doing this work knows it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time and patience, and most people don't give that kind of time and patience to themselves. So you do find a lot of people who are still playing out their unconscious patterns in the spiritual communities, in the self development communities. And it's not like they are bad people, it's just that they are still operating from the their past behaviors, their unconscious behaviors. So it is difficult to make friends even in these communities. In the period you are healing from trauma, and it depends of on how much trauma you have experienced in the past and how much of it is inside your body. And everybody goes through this journey in their own time. You can't compare your timeline to others. I can't say that it took me this many years and it took only this many months for that person. I don't know that person's journey. Not everybody has the same starting point. So for you, for me, maybe our starting point was here, and that person we are comparing ourselves with, their starting point was here. So they are already very ahead of us in how much they stability they have in their body, how much strong their foundation is. That doesn't mean they're better than us or anything. It just everybody has their own journey. And actually, it doesn't mean, and it can also mean that you actually, even though you started from very far, you still catch up to them. And you both are in the same timeline together because they just had a strong foundation and they achieved something in life and then they are in that timeline. But you, who started from very far, you did the work, it took you maybe months, years, and then suddenly you are in this timeline and then you are going together ahead. So nobody is like there is no competition. You are just getting better from the person you were yesterday. And as long as that is true, you are golden. You're doing amazing in your life. So if you're struggling to make friends or finding that one close person in this healing journey, but you don't have them yet, just keep doing your practices, keep on this journey and be self compassionate and be joyful as much as you can be, and just remain grounded in your reality and know that you will find your people. Just be connected to your true self, your the divinity inside you, as much as possible and enjoy the journey. That's it for this video. Thank you for listening. Love you. Bye.